justice, and ultimately, the voice upholds peace. The Voice is Building Bridges, your radio advocacy platform aimed at building trust and fostering peaceful coexistence among communities, ethnicities, and groups. In an ever-changing world, there is a demand for a voice, which echoes the thoughts and yearnings of the common man. That voice comes with truth. It's a voice of justice, and ultimately, the voice upholds peace. The Voice is Building Bridges, your radio advocacy platform aimed at building trust and fostering. In an ever-changing world, there is a demand for a voice, which echoes the thoughts and yearnings of the common man. That voice comes with truth. It's a voice of justice, and ultimately, the voice upholds peace. The Voice is Building Bridges, your radio advocacy platform aimed at building trust and fostering peaceful coexistence among communities, ethnicities, and groups. Building Bridges comes up every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. on J11.9 FM, an initiative of Take and Peace Desk with support by Bread for the World.
It's the 29th day of December 2021, and of course it's the last Wednesday for the year 2021. We're grateful to God for life, and we're thankful to God for keeping us till date. It's the last edition of Building Bridges for the year 2021, and it promises to be engaging, enlightening, and educative as usual. My name is Joseph Ojedeji. I'll be your lead advocate for the next 45 minutes. The program is Building Bridges, a program brought to you by Take and Peace Desk with support from Bread for the World. And today being the last edition of the program, we shall be taking a look at the year 2021 in retrospect. We shall be reviewing major talking points in the year 2021. As you may well be aware, 2021 is a year full of major events. Overwhelming events, joyous events, and events that make you want to pause and think. But overall, we thank God for life, as someone will say. The year 2021 has been an historic year in view of the various happenings within the year. There are various issues that stand out in the year, which has been a major talking point and driven our advocacy on this platform within the year. On this edition of the program, we shall be having a review of those major talking points. We'll assess the challenges, the emerging issues, and possibly way forward. The issues are quite broad. Yes, we may not be able to exhaust them this week, but we'll run it in a two-part series where we'll actually continue the edition next week. But for today, we shall be reviewing these notable points. Major among these points are the issues of insecurity, ranging from farmer-other clashes, farmer-other attacks, as the case may be. You also have the issues of communal clashes, that span the Middle Belt region, affecting various communities with untold number of casualties. Scores of lives have been lost to these unfortunate circumstances across our communities. We also have cases of increased kidnapping, banditry, insurgency, and other major talking points are the issues of the increasing cost of commodity. Of course, the new variant of Covid19, the Omicron, as well as issues of good governance, talking about the issues of the Electoral Amendment Bill, talking about the issues of the legislative stalemate here even on the plateau, and issues of good governance as it affects everyone on the plateau and Nigeria by extension, as well as the state of our policing system 1 year after the EndSARS protest. All these are major events within the year. The various regions of the country have had its fair share of insecurity this year. This is with its attendant negative impact on human and capital development, with increased polarization of the country along ethnic and regional lines. They have affected us as a people, where people look at each other first, saying, okay, you are from this part of the country before, and then it determines how you will be related with. The education sector has also had its own fair share of the insecurity problems, talking about the issues of school kidnapping, which has been the order of the day. Before now, it's been once a while, but this year it seems to have been on the increase. The issues of school kidnapping, kidnapping of students in their various schools. All these form the bulk of the demand for good governance by citizens who grapple with the economic fallout across board. This is coupled with the increasing cost of governance or recurrent expenditure and the surging debt profile of the country. People have asked, we've continued to borrow, but are we seeing the physical infrastructure to justify our borrowings? What are we actually spending all these monies on? And all these and many more will form the basis of our discussion today as we review major talking points within the year 2021. Which of these issues stand out for you? Which of these issues want to make you think and say, year 2021 indeed? What are the major issues as the year winds down, and what are you grateful for this year? I have with me a team of seasoned development practitioners as well as analysts who will be doing justice to the year 2021 in review. I have with me in the studio Mr. Kishwe William. Mr. Kishwe William is the Program Manager, Mennonite Central Committee, MCC Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Nice having you.
All right. I also have with me here in the studio Mr. Dan Zita. Mr. Dan Zita is a public affairs analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning and nice having you.
Great. And lastly, I have with me Mr. Kabiru Sabo. Mr. Kabiru Sabo is the Programs Manager of Take and Peace Desk. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being on this platform once again.
Also, I have in the studio by the sideline Mrs. Gloria Parr. She's waving on the sideline there. Thank you very much. All right, listen, now we'll be delving into the conversation properly. It promised to be an engaging edition of the program. But before we do that, we'll quickly take a short breather as we take a message from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
In an ever-changing world, there is a demand for a voice, which echoes the thoughts and yearnings of the common man. That voice comes with truth. It's a voice of justice, and ultimately, the voice upholds peace. The Voice is Building Bridges, your radio advocacy platform aimed at building trust and fostering peaceful coexistence among communities, ethnicities, and groups. Building Bridges comes up every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. on J101.9 FM, an initiative of Take and Peace Desk with support by Bread for the World.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie.
I'm Nempigma Longji, staff of Take and Peace Desk. I wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
My name is Christiana Dasura Michael. I'm a staff of Take and Peace Desk. I wish everybody Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hello, my name is Geoffrey Patrick Mwantet, a staff with Take and Peace Desk. Christmas to me is the celebration of the gracious love of God for mankind. Hallelujah. I wish you Happy Christmas.
My name is Abubakar Katina Ruben, staff of Take and Peace Desk. This season season is a season of love. I wish that everyone should share love with one another at this season. Merry Christmas.
Hello, good people of Plateau State. My name is Sanchi Aminadasflan, wishing you Merry Christmas and a happy 2022.
Hi everyone, this is Nandong Lana. Christmas to me is a season to share the love of the Savior, and I wish us all a beautiful celebration and a glorious 2022.
My name is Julius A. Abimiko, a staff of the campus desk. Christmas is a time of love, peace, and joy. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New
Year. All right, you're welcome back from that short break as we took message from our sponsors, Take and Peace Desk. You have staff of Take and Peace Desk, giving out their Christmas wishes, Christmas and New Year wishes to you out there. And the program remains Building Bridges. We are taking a look at the year 2021 in retrospect. We're reviewing major events of this year. And before the break, I said something. What is that event that makes you stop and hopefully pause for a minute and think and say, 2021? You can go to our Facebook page at Take and Peace Desk. You can also join the conversation there. You can drop that major event on our Facebook page and, tell us how it affected you positively or negatively. We'll also take all the comments at the appropriate time. So I have with me in the studio a team of seasoned analysts to do justice to this particular topic. Starting with Mr. Kishore, what are you grateful for this year? What are you grateful for this year? Year 2021.
Quite a lot. Must be thankful to God for first of all giving me the privilege of being alive, and also to have a family, and also to be able to fend for the family. I see on a daily basis that life in Nigeria especially is quite challenging. And I feel so sorry for people who struggle to make ends meet, particularly in a country where on a daily basis the cost of living is on a very high cost, on the increase daily, and then we have family who are not able to eat a square meal per day, who are living practically below the dollar line and $1 line. That's to say that yes, in the middle of plenty, Nigeria is still impoverished. Impoverished rather. So we have a long way to go, but I'm hopeful that eventually we'll produce leaders who will be able to stand in the gap for her citizens, to be able to make life more comfortable for her citizens. And so therefore I know that with the passage of time, we're going through an experience where we can look back and heave a sigh of relief to say that we've come a long way.
Indeed, we are hopeful. Mr. Danzita, what are you grateful for this year so far?
Thank you for that question. I'm really grateful for the gift of life, for good health. I'm also grateful for an understanding wife, because I reside in Abuja and she is here in Jos, toiling, taking care of the kids. And I'm grateful for the journey messages God has granted me all through the year.
Absolutely.
And then the fact that we sometimes eat 2 times, 3 times in a day is a miracle with the current state of the economy. So
Indeed.
We are grateful.
Indeed, we're grateful to God, Mr. Kabiru Sabo, what are you really grateful to God for this morning?
I think they've said everything. For me to come back and rehash what they've said would just be like repeating what everybody has gone through in the entire year. I think it's for all Nigerians to actually sit down and say, for those that were able to survive through 2021, it's always going to be, we thank God for those little mercies. When you are stepping out on the road, you'd have to pray, you have to commit the journey, and For some other evangelicals, in fact, it goes into the realm of even strong spirituality, and all of that. That's just on one side. In fact, it's so bad that we have to commit everything to God Almighty. I mean, for things that ordinarily we should be, of course, we're people of faith, but then for ordinarily things that you feel in other climes it's a normal thing. For us here, we don't take it for granted. So for you stepping out of your house, you have to pray that God will just have mercies and all of that. So we're really grateful. For me personally, I'm grateful for a lot of things that if I was to start itemizing them, it would take the entire 45 minutes that we have.
Indeed, we're grateful to God and we're thankful for life. So let's quickly delve into the discussion proper. Mr. Kishui, we're looking at the year 2021 in review. And we made mention of the major events of the year to cover issues such as insecurity, issues of other attacks, communal clashes, increased kidnapping, banditry, and insurgency. And Mr. Kabir Sabo also said, traveling on Nigerian roads nowadays, calls for increased vigilance and prayers, as the case may be. So, what is your assessment of the year 2021 along these lines?
Generally, I think it's a governance issue. I would say that we have had it good in the past, but I wonder how we have traveled this pedestal and to get to where we are at the moment in terms of governance. This is a system, or administration that we've all had hope, and I think Nigerians came out all heartedly to vote for this government with the hope that there will be some kind of turnaround. And to get to where we are, I would say that it's rather an unfortunate situation in terms of security, in terms of service provision. I would say that it's entirely a failure of the system. And we continue to see quite a huge gap in terms of that service provision to citizens. And the taxpayers' money, we've seen that, people's money which ordinarily should be seen or to be channeled through developmental, projects are siphoned, and you usually would end in a few people's pockets. That's rather unfortunate, and no wonder we're beginning to see a complete comatose of the security system. The security architecture is completely comatose, and no wonder you see the police. I wouldn't blame them, because yes, if we have a system where the police have not been paid, and that's where, that's the news we receive, whether true or untrue, we're not sure. But for me, I receive news that the police have not been paid their November salary, and if you have a police that works very closely with the people at the grassroots, who should provide security, going home to sleep on an empty stomach, and you expect that they will give in their best. I think we're rather living in a fool's paradise if we believe this is actually what we expect, because it is actually a playing in, playing out system. It's actually what you give in that you expect to see. So the little or nothing that has been given is seen to be playing out in actually the frustration we see around. And the case of the happy trigger police you see around because of the hunger, the seeming hunger that's in the air. And so people are frustrated. And so they're looking for a way out to vent out their frustration.
Well, let me quickly go to Mr. Kabir Sabo. He mentioned a particular fact, talking about the comatose state of our policing system. And during the course of the year, you have the presidency insisting that, insurgency or the insurgents have been decimated, and yes, you still have attacks across the northeastern part of the country. Also, you have the issues of banditry, that have moved and transcended from the northwestern part of the country even to the middle belt as it is today. So what is the problem?
Well, I think for us, we could keep on itemizing the problems, and it could just be an issue of us whining and just crying and saying and restating the issues as they are. Of course, like Kishore rightly mentioned, it's the security architecture is totally down. It's comatose, and of course. Whether it's the presidency or whoever the runners of the president are, they have a task of giving their own side of the story, of making the government look good, and we can't hold them. Well, we should be able to hold them accountable. However, they have their own job. But for the reality on ground, it clearly shows that Nigeria is, I hate to say this, but it's almost on autopilot. It's as bad as us just going through the rudiments and just praying that we all survive through and the next through 2022 to 2023, where we might get some kind of I don't know what to say now. Maybe some kind of help from whoever will be taking over, or whoever the government might be handed over to. However, the security agencies themselves have no coordination. It's very clear that when you talk about a security architecture, it's built from a foundation of a lower base to where you have concerted coordination at the top, and there's interagency collaboration. However, we've seen on several occasions the Nigerian Armed Forces doing one thing, the police doing one thing, the Department of State Services, as they wish to be called, although in the Constitution they are referred to as SSS, which is this State Security Service, but they prefer to be called DSS now, doing their own thing. And so clearly there isn't anything. Now, a court of competent jurisdiction has come out to clearly designate bandits as terrorists, but the federal government has refused to go ahead to tag them or to name them such, and it's been close to a month or 6 weeks now that has happened. And clearly, so it gives you begin to wonder what the interest of government is, that clearly individuals who have been already tagged or they've been named as terrorists are not so named by the government, because at that level, the right measures or the proportionate force that can be used to attack or to deal with terrorists should be meted out to them. But then, of course, those are issues that we can keep going on and on and on about.
Well, thank you very much. I'll quickly move to Mr. Dan. You travel a lot, and you have first-hand experience of the Nigerian road, in the year 2021. Now, how has the government of Nigeria fared in terms of protecting the lives and property of its citizens? How have the government fared in discharge of this constitutional role in year 2021?
To be honest, we have been grappling with these challenges for the whole year, and accessing the government at this level, if I say the government is fair, then I'm not saying the truth, actually. Because just the other time, I think I came back from Kaduna, after 2 days, there was an attack on the rail.
On the rail?
Yes. When you go to the rail station, you will see the influx of people. Almost everybody that matters wants to follow the rail because the roads are not safe. And that is the only access point to Kaduna and other parts of the north. So you just can sit down and imagine that kind of a scenario People go to the airports now or just go there and conduct a research on the number of people that fly by air. You will see that in 2021, there has been like a 72% increase. I have a friend who works with the aviation sector, and he was telling me that there was an increase by almost 72%, with maybe, let's say, 0.1 margin of error. That's to tell you that our roads are not safe. And, well, sometimes if you must follow the road, as my friend Sabo has said, you have to pray, take 2 days to fast and pray. So to be honest, our roads are not saved. But let me just add quickly that just of recent we had a review of, I was part of the group that reviewed the economic recovery and growth plans of the federal government. And in doing the analysis, everybody seated there was emotional when it comes to issue of security. So we were analyzing and we looked at the indicators and we discovered that, well, going by these indicators, the government has not done poorly. But when you check the real things on ground, the government has done terribly. So you may see the analysis of the ERGP, and you could go to security and discover that, in most of the indicators, government has been scored a little bit above average. Okay. Don't be dismayed. It is as a result of the indicators that are placed. So now a proper research is going on to make sure that those indicators actually capture the results of what is on ground. Number of people kidnapped, number of the clashes recorded, a number of responses that were accorded. So when that is put in place, then a proper analysis of the security situation on our routes, on our rails, will actually come up.
Well, before I actually move to the next commentator, you were part of the economic review team, as you rightly said earlier on, and year 2021 has been an eventful year in terms of the economic activities and economic realities and living conditions of Nigerians out there. For example, the LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, also known as the cooking gas, sporadically has increased within the year. I want to ask you, in all fairness, has the life of the average Nigerian been good economically today?
Let me quickly add that I was also in attendance at Port Harcourt, where they had the National Council of Hydrocarbons, and that topic surfaced, and we had a lot of memos from indigenous communities and some sponsored by non-governmental organizations as regards the LPG. But you see, the question is there sincerity of purpose in governance in this country? And the simple answer to it is no.
Interesting.
If a country like Nigeria could be facing that kind of a situation, just imagine a country that doesn't produce gas at all. But if you check it out, you will discover that even countries who don't produce gas, or they are not into hydrocarbons, you will discover that they are doing by far better than Nigeria. So there are a lot of vested interests. There are a lot of arguments up and down as regards what is the cause of the problem. But the life of an average Nigerian is not properly pleased.
Interesting. Thank you very much, for the honest answer there. We have so much to talk about, but we have to hear from our listeners as well. They are a key part of this conversation, and we have to do just that. Listener, we'll be opening our phone lines now. You can be part of the conversation. 090-5566-699 or 090-988-48848. Please, when you call us, turn down the volume of your radio, your name, and where you are calling from. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're glad you called, Mr. Jude. Please go ahead.
My brother, the guest has spoken well.
Okay.
And you come out the anchor of the program, they are doing well.
Thank you.
Because it's not easy. Let me tell you something. Many homes that you go today, and in one problem or the other, because of bad governance. That's the truth of the matter. And that's why we are telling people to be wise. Avoid when election time comes. 2022 is the beginning of 2023 election.
Absolutely.
When they come to community, they will use many sweet mouth, tell you heaven on earth. They will do this, do that. At the end of the day, nothing will come out of it. Let me tell you, in this administration, honestly speaking, it's not that I'm saying it because of sentiment or whatever. The kind of suffering that masses are suffering, masses have never suffered like this before in the history of this country. I don't know why.
Okay.
But they tell us, they will protect us within 6 months. The issue of insecurity will be thing of the past.
Okay.
The other will be social amount. How much is common Gary? Common Alibo is how much now? To compensate with, and then please take us back to 2016. If they can be able to do it, that is better for us because people are in hell. So let them do the needful. We remain 17 months for them to the administration to be over.
Okay.
I'm telling you, they did not do anything fast. They cannot even come back to even get even councillor, any one of them.
All right.
God bless you, my brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jude. All right, that Mr. Jude there with a passionate one there talking about the issues of good governance. Let's see what we have here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar. I'm calling from TT&T Junction.
We're glad you called, Sadiq. Please go ahead.
Yes, I will comment your guests. They have spoken well. And actually, when we look at issues that are happening in Nigeria, is something that is a very, very sad development, especially the issue of insecurity that we are facing. You see, this banditry or any crime that is happening in the north, whether they tag them as terrorists or not, we have already known they are terrorists because to terrorize, as long as you carry arms and kill another person, you are just a terrorist. But the response or the action on government on this banditry or this insecurity is something of concern because we have not seen any new strategy have been involved because the only method that we have been using since coming of this administration, this is almost 7 years, we have seen every year a lot of money have been budgeting and a lot of development. They will be saying that it's on insecurity. Even though we are commending our military, but the government are not showing them care because the personnel are not much and their payments now we are talking about police. Their salary is not paid. They are not being taken care of. You see, that's to say the government are not serious with the issue of insecurity. I know a lot of police vans that have been fueled by the police personnel, and now they not paid them. How will they how will they take their operation? And that's to say that they are just advising corruption in our community, and which will develop into insecurity again. If the government are serious about this insecurity, they have to check the number of security that are very, very low compared to the population of Nigeria and increase them. And we have a good payment. Those that have died in serving, they should be taken care of.
Okay.
So if justice has been done, I think they will work tirelessly to end this issue.
All right. Thank you very much, Sadiq Umar. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost the call. Please try and call back if you can. We have Sadiq Umar there with a passionate one day talking about new strategy for our policing system. Our phone line remains open 09055666699 or 09098848848. Also, when you call, please tell us one thing you're thankful to God for this year. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. It's Radio Mama calling from Valencia.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guys there. I just feel that I don't know. Are you talking about general insecurity or the state of the nation, please?
We're reviewing major events in the year 2021.
Okay, the major events. I think for me, insecurity is one big event. And the way the presidency, the way he's taking it, I don't know. He's handling it with a truth. I do know what. I don't know if you listen to his speech, the remarks he made when he went to Germany. Where the parents center sending rockets or whatever. When I listened to that speech, I felt for him. You see, what is happening is this. He has a very soft spot for them. Because he even said that people who have the same religion, the same culture, killing themselves. And then I read in between lines, or the rest of the things he said was like saying, how can he send the army against them? That is like killing ourselves. That was how he put it. So you see, that is why. So the army themselves have a problem. It's the command they are giving. If you have met some of these other soldiers, that is the good soldiers who need to fight, they will tell you that the problem they have is that the command they are giving. Sometimes they meet them face to face, the terrorists, and they tell them go to kill them, let them find a way of arresting them and say they are repentant and all that. That's what they say. That's the problem. So at least it doesn't treat it well. I mean, you see, that's what is happening now. I heard your guys talking about the airport, the trains and all that. They are making a big mistake with these people. You see this airport that they have abandoned the road because of insecurity, and they say, very soon, you see what will happen. I'm not a prophet of good, but if they don't secure every other place, they are going to face the airport and the railway station. It will be a disaster. So the number of people that will die. So they allow state police and decentralize the security architecture, they're better for us. I don't know what is wrong with this country. And another thing again is this electoral access. That direct primary thing, for me, is a red herring. They don't put it there towards constitution, the National Assembly. So National Assembly should be careful. Because they cannot push us to the wall. Let them not start this new year on a bad footing. Let them stop. Mr. President should also not take us for granted. Because that's what I'm telling you, I tell it for free. They probably put it. So they truncate that electoral act amendment bill. Their problem is a transfer. It's not a transfer of results or whatever. That is what is the issue. God bless you. Let's not give up in this country.
Amen. Thank you very much, Radio Mama. That's a lengthy one there from Radio Mama, talking about security approaches as well as the good governance electoral amendment bill. We'll talk about that at the right time. 09055666699 or 09098848848. You can also be part of the conversation on our social media platform on Facebook at Taken Peace Desk. You can join the conversation. Lost that call. Please, when you call us, tell us your name, where you're calling from. Go straight to the point. Also, one thing you are grateful to God for. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay. Hello, good morning. Please try and call us back if you can. Okay, let's move here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Glamour Designer from Mitsubishi Street.
Indeed, Mr. Glamour Designer, we're glad to have you. It's been a while on this program.
Yes, I'm glad to speak to you this morning.
Thank you very much.
This morning.
All right, please go ahead.
We need to tell ourselves the truth and the fact in this country. And what is happening in the security sector and Nigeria entirely. It looks like we don't have leaders and control in this country anymore. If you check from the arrest, some of them are making from the kidnapping. You see that if either police hand is inside or soldier hand is inside, we are the ones doing this to ourselves. And if the president himself is not doing the needful, so and that is why you see all these things keeping moving every day and agitating. And many people are coming out that as a terrorist, anybody can stand up anytime, any day to attack somebody on the road, in the inside town, and nothing happens. You see, we need to use those people that catch as a scapegoat, so that Nigeria will be a better place. Otherwise, if you find out right now that those people they are kidnapped, and they say most of them are police and soldiers. Some of them are not Nigeria.
Okay.
They are strangers.
Okay.
Find out very well, you will know. There is no how you see your brother, you will kill your brother in this country. It's not possible. Nigeria like enjoyment so much that they don't want to hurt each other. And most of those things is people and the politicians engage them in rubbish things they are doing into this nation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let the people and our leaders do the needful.
All right.
So that we know who to vote for and who not to vote for.
All right. Thank you very much, Glamour Designers. Okay. I think that will be the size of it from the listener. Let's come back to the guest in the house. You know, we've harvested opinions from our listener out there. Mr. Kishore, let's have your reactions to some of them.
Yeah, I think borrowing from what Radio Mama said, especially on the state of the nation, I would say, yeah, it's a governance issue. If we have a country that borrows more than require to finance the system, I think is a huge gap for us. I would say we have a long way to go if we are thinking of the proposal of 500 billion to finance primary election. I think this is a complete misnomer for me. And then you're talking about a country with 50 trillion naira public debt, and we continue to borrow to finance, finance the system. And the financing is not actually about multiplier effect. It's about borrowing to either run elections and not to borrow to produce. So I think we have to have a rethink on these issues, because for a nation that with this kind of population, and we continue to borrow to run election, and then to also talk about whether in this age and time we want to. We're thinking of what kind of, whether to run primary election, at what level, and who should be involved, and all of that. I think we've gone past that stage. Particularly what we require and what a common man on the street understand, the language the persons understand, is provide security. And I think Nigerians are very resilient people that are willing, they have the capacity on their own to produce, they have the capacity to sustain themselves. And all they require from government is security, because security is actually a capital-intensive venture that a common man cannot or may not be able to provide for himself. So what does the government in this case supposed to do? For a common man who is a farmer in Mango, for instance, require that he goes out in the morning and comes back from his or her farm. And then at the end of the day, to boast of a bumper harvest, where we can say the government was not a party to contributing to what the farmer requires, even though fertilizer, that should be a common thing for a farmer to access. A farmer cannot be able to access fertilizer in this case. So for me, I think security is a key thing. Security is a key thing for us.
Okay, let's quickly have Mr. Dan react. Please, I want to talk about the issue of good governance and then the issue of electoral amendment bill as itemized by Radio Mama. She talked about the issue of sincerity of the National Assembly. versus the executive. Two issues from there: issues of electronic transmission of results and direct primary. What is the way forward?
Let me start with the issue of the economy slightly. We cannot overemphasize the need for putting our economy in place because the policies and program the government is undertaking is not sustainable. And the general concept of sustainability stems from forestry, which states that you shouldn't take from the forest more than the forest could yield in 1 year, in one full year. But the programs we are running are not sustainable. Rather, we keep collecting monies and we are not investing those monies in infrastructure, agriculture, or things that will boost the economy. So because of that, I think we're running at a deficit as it is. And the part of the reason why the prices of things in the market have skyrocketed is because of the dollar-naira disparity, and which invariably is attributed to the way we are running the economy. So government can tackle that. On the issue of the Electoral Act, it's like throwing the baby with the bathwater, which is not a sensible thing to do. I believe the National Assembly could expunge that which they feel they are not comfortable with, and which invariably they attributed it to the direct primaries, which is going to consume a lot of finances. So if they can expunge that and then put together the other parts of the Electoral Amendment Act, which I believe is going to be viable, then we could actually have a credible election in 2023. But as it is, I don't want to foresay, but if we are going to continue like this without this amendment, then the results of what is going to happen in 2023.
We'll talk about this next week. Mr. Kabiru Sabo, your last words.
I think for me, the question comes back again to the value that we place on the Nigerian life. Government in all its dealings clearly has shown that it does not value Nigerian lives. And that's why they can come up with any kind of policy that does not have a human face. So that's
all right. Thank you very much. On Facebook, we have Abdul Salam commenting. He said, "Peace, they say, is a living thing, given to all. Let's build it all. No one to tell you that peace is priceless. Indeed, peace is priceless." That's where we'll actually end it here today. Peace is priceless. Whatever you do, ensure that you strive for peace. It's the essence of this program, and we are compelled by that. My name is Joseph Ojedeji. That will be the size of our package today. Mr. Kishwe, thank you for coming. Mr. Dan, thank you for coming.
Nice having you.
Mr. Kabiru Sabo, hope to do this next week.
Thank you.
And I have Miss Gloria Pa in the studio. Thank you as well. And I send a big shout out to Linda Winful. Thank you very much. Blessed are the peacemakers. Let's do this next week. God bless you.